Many people think Reiki is one system. In reality, there are different paths, each opening a deeper level of healing and consciousness. Many people discover Reiki because they are seeking healing. Some are looking for relief from stress, others are dealing with emotional challenges, physical discomfort, or a sense that something in life feels out of balance. What many people discover through Reiki is that healing does not begin in the body. Healing actually begins in the mind. When we live in fear, resistance, anger, or constant inner conflict, we create disharmony within ourselves. So here Reiki helps us return to a natural state of balance by recognizing us with the universal life force energy that is available to everyone. First, I will talk about Gendai Reiki. So, we learned that Reiki is not something outside of us, actually. It is a natural energy that flows through all life. As we practice Reiki, we begin to cultivate peace. We learn to observe our thoughts rather than becoming controlled by them. We learn to respond rather than react. We discover that peace is not the absence of challenges, but our ability to remain centered while facing them. Life will continue to bring lessons. Yes, there will still be uncertainty, there will still be moments of confusion and difficulty. Yet, every challenge becomes an opportunity to deepen our peace. Over time, we realize that there is no problem that cannot be faced and no experience that cannot teach us something valuable. So, the true purpose of Reiki is not simply to heal the body. Okay, that's very important. It is to remember who we are beneath the fear, beneath the stress, and beneath the noise of everyday life. When the mind becomes peaceful, the heart begins to open, to expand. And when the heart opens, healings naturally follow. So this brings us the next stage of the journey. So if Reiki teaches us peace, Karuna Reiki, which is a next level, teaches us compassion. The word karuna comes from Sanskrit and is often translated as compassion. Yet karuna is more than a feeling, it is compassion expressed through action. As our awareness expands, we begin to understand that we are not separate from each other. The healing of one person influences actually many others. The kindness we offer ultimately returns to ourselves. So Karuna Reiki invites us to move beyond personal healing and become a source of healing for the world around us. It helps us open the heart more deeply. It helps us release old emotional wounds, limiting patterns and beliefs that may have been carried for many, many years. Karuna Reiki teaches us that healing does not require us to remain trapped in suffering. We do not need to endlessly relive painful experiences. Instead, we can bring compassion, understanding, and light to what happened. So, from that place, healing unfolds naturally. So, Karuna helps us develop compassion for others, for our journey, and perhaps more importantly, compassion for the parts of ourselves that are still learning and growing. So, Reiki brings us peace, Karuna expands that peace into compassion. Together, they help us become more balanced, more aware, more loving, and more connected to our true nature. So, the journey begins with healing ourselves, but eventually, we discover that healing is not only about ourselves, it is about becoming a presence of peace, compassion, and light in the life of others. And perhaps that is the greatest gift Reiki and Karuna Reiki have to offer. After Reiki teaches us peace and Karuna teaches us compassion, another question appears. What happens when healing becomes more than healing? What happens when we begin to seek a deeper understanding of who we truly are? There is where Shambhala, multidimensional healing, enter the journey. So Shambhala is often described as the energy of unconditional love. Its purpose is not only healing, it's awakening. While Reiki helps restore balance and Karuna helps open the heart, excuse me, Shambhala invites us to recognize our connection with something greater than ourselves. So many spiritual traditions describe this connection using different words. Some call it source, some call it spirit, some call it divine presence, some call it God. So the name is not that important, the experience is. So Shambhala reminds us that we are not separate from life. We are part of a greater whole. As this awareness develops, many people begin to experience a deeper sense of peace, purpose, and trust. So life is no longer seen as a series of random events. It becomes a journey of growth and remembrance. One of the central teachings of Shambhala is unconditional love. So, not love as an emotion, but love as a state of being, a state where we stop fighting ourselves, a state where we stop believing we are disconnected from the divine, a state where we begin to recognize the sacredness within ourselves and within others. Shambhala teaches that healing and spiritual growth are not separate paths, they are actually the same path. The more we heal, the more conscious we become. The more conscious we become, the more naturally healing occurs. So, for this reason, Shambhala is often called a multidimensional healing system. So, it does not focus only on the physical body, it supports the emotional, mental, energetic, and spiritual aspects of our being as well. Its ultimate purpose, it's not simply to remove discomfort. Its purpose is actually transformation. The transformation from fear into trust, from separation into unity, from limitation into greater awareness. And perhaps the greatest lesson of all is that we are not here merely to survive, we are here to remember who we actually are. As spiritual growth continues, another question naturally appears, not only who I am, but also why am I here? What is my purpose? How can I serve something greater than myself? And this is where the teachings of Melchizedek enter the journey. In many spiritual traditions, Melchizedek is described as the teacher, guide, priest, and guardian of sacred wisdom. The order of Melchizedek is often seen as a path of spiritual service, not service through suffering, but service to conscious living. And according to the teachings, every soul carries unique gifts. Every person has talents, wisdom, experiences, and lessons that can contribute to the growth of humanity. The purpose is not to become someone else, the purpose is to become more fully yourself. Melchizedek teachings encourage us to reconnect with our higher self, to listen to our inner guidance, to develop greater awareness of our thoughts, emotions, and actions, and to align our lives with a deeper spiritual purpose. One of the central ideas is that spiritual growth is not separate from everyday life. True spirituality, it's actually not about escaping the world, it is bringing higher awareness into the world, into our relationships, into our work, our decisions. So the path of Melchizedek invites us to remember that evolution happens on two levels. First is inner transformation. The second is bringing that transformation into the physical world. Another important aspect of this work is the relationship with the higher self. So many people spend years searching for awareness outside themselves, yet some of the deepest guidance already exists within. So when we learn to become still, listen, and trust our inner knowing, a new level of clarity begins to emerge. So I'm Corina, Reiki and Shambhala Grandmaster Teacher, Tarot Guide, Melchizedek Grand Reverend. If you feel called to explore these paths, you can find more information about my sessions and trainings on my website, beacons.ai/Corina Reiki and Tarot. Thank you for watching.